Duplicate sales transactions are a common problem in QuickBooks Online. These duplicates can happen a few different ways, but the most common way that I see it happen is due to not matching invoice payments to the bank deposits in the bank feed. If you've received payment on an invoice and then in turn add the deposit without matching it in the bank feed, QuickBooks Online will record this transaction twice in your profit and loss. This is a problem because you're overstating your income, which can lead to budgeting problems or even paying more in income tax. Now, I know you're probably wondering how to figure out if you were doing this. The easiest way to find out if you were making this mistake is to go to your profit and loss statement. So once you have your profit and loss pulled up, we're going to drill down on sales. As you can see, we have two transactions, a deposit and an invoice on the same date for the same amount. This is a pretty good indicator that this is just a duplicated transaction that should only be recorded once. The next step is to drill down on your invoice and trace back to the receive payment screen. Okay, so as you can see on the receive payment, we are not matched to any transactions from the bank. And that's not what we want to see. Anytime that you are dealing with invoices or payment received from invoices, you want to see online banking matches on the receive payment screen. That is one way to ensure that you're not duplicating the transactions. Okay, so now that we have a pretty good idea that this is a duplicate, now let's fix it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the deposit. So anytime that you're dealing with transactions that were added straight from the bank feed, which would be either expenses or deposits, bank deposits, you are okay to delete those transactions because you're not going to have to recreate them. They're going to go right back into the bank feed and you're not going to lose any data. So we're going to go ahead and delete this transaction. All right, so we got rid of the bank deposit from the sales account. So we're going to jump back to our bank feed. Okay, and so now that that transaction is back in the bank feed, QuickBooks is trying to match that $500 deposit to a payment received on the invoice that we just saw. So you can go ahead and add or match the transaction from right here. But if for any reason it doesn't try to automatically match, you can click on the transaction. Now usually there'll be a find match button right here, but in this case we can get to the same spot from right here. Okay, so this will pull up all of the bank deposits in this date range. If you're still not seeing the deposit or the payment that you're looking for, try expanding your date range. Dates are really important whenever you're working inside QuickBooks Online. Normally, the transaction that you're looking for is just going to be hanging out just outside this date range. Just expand the date range. If you can't find it there, then most likely you have received payment to the wrong bank account is normally what I see. So we're going to go ahead and save. Okay, now that the transaction has been matched to the deposit, we are going to jump back into the profit and loss. I'm going to show you what it should look like. Okay, so we have our invoice here. Now we're going to trace it all the way back. We have our payment made on the 21st. You can see a deposit in the amount of $500 was deposited on 11/21. There you go. And now our bank deposit is linked up with the payment received on our invoice. And that is how you fix duplicate sales transactions in QuickBooks Online.